How to know if a man is jealous, according to his zodiac sign. In this video, we will show you different ways to find out if your partner is jealous and how he expresses himself in this situation. This will help you to know how to calm him down and resolve the crisis to your advantage. Remember that if you like this video, don't forget to hit that button. It really helps us to know that we should do more like this one. Also, check the description where you can find more resources related to the info in this video. Aries. When an Aries man becomes jealous, he turns into a completely different person than the one you know. Sure, he has great emotions and a not-so-subtle personality, but this is something new and scary for both of you. Jealousy is not a feeling that Aries man often feels, but when he does, it is difficult for him to control it. He will certainly not tell you how he feels right away, but you will notice a change in his attitude. Aries will start to become possessive, and if you fight back, he will become combative and quarrel with you trying to defend himself. Also, an Aries man becomes disordered when he is jealous, which is not in his nature. Taurus. When a Taurus man is not jealous, he is affectionate and loving. Just think of the morning messages and the many kisses and hugs that surround you with. But when a Taurus man becomes jealous, he will try to shut himself in and not talk about it because he doesn't want to be such a lover. But some signs are his tells anyway. Instead of being cute as usual, Taurus becomes arrogant and tiring once he faces jealousy. Instead of good morning messages, expect them to send you messages constantly, asking you what you do and where you are at any given hour of the day. He will try to take possession of you as if he owns you, and he wants all the men around you to know that. Gemini. The Gemini man has absolutely no problem facing small quarrels and disagreements in his relationship. All he cares about is solving the things that bother you both so that you get over it and be well. But when he is secretly jealous, he will keep his thoughts to himself only out of fear that they will come true. Also, the chatty man he was before now becomes tense and will barely talk to you because he doesn't know what will come out of his mouth. Obviously, this will start annoying you, and if you try to start a discussion about it, he will start joking and shrugging. It is very difficult to make him admit that he is jealous. Cancer. Cancer feels everything very intensely, but when it comes to secret jealousy, these feelings become even crazier and harder to treat. He is both close and distant when confronted with jealousy, which can be confusing enough for you and an absolute nightmare for him. Expect him to tell you that he doesn't care if you don't want to spend the weekend together, and then change his mind immediately and want to make plans together. Cancer will also be incredibly passive-aggressive, which is the biggest indication of his jealousy. He may act overprotective to try to show you that he's sorry for his behavior, but he'll turn into that passive-aggressive monster the moment he feels jealousy, ready to take over again. Leo. When a Leo man is jealous, he tries to convince himself that he is jealous just because there is a real reason to be. He is so confident in his feelings that he thinks he can't be wrong. When a Leo man is secretly jealous, you will notice that his condition will change from optimistic and loving to downright rude. In addition to being rude, Leo tends to become overly dramatic. That means making fun of you and rolling his eyes whenever the person he is jealous of appears in a conversation, crying and accusing you of not loving him enough. He also tends to lie and tell you that he is stressed at work or worried about something else. When he's jealous, expect to deal with a Leo who behaves as if he were 6 years old. Virgo. For the Virgo man, jealousy is a confusing and harsh emotion, one he never wants to deal with in his relationship. You try not to care, but Virgo cares. When this native feels jealous, his immediate reaction is to hide it. A jealous Virgo man begins to become distant or silent, because he will want to sink into his mind and try to figure out for himself what is really going on. It's not healthy to shut yourself in, instead of solving the problem together, but be patient, because he wants to organize himself well before coming to you. Of course, this is his reaction to almost anything negative, so expect him to be less attentive and caring to you and your relationship. He feels he has to put his love on hold until he finds out what's going on. Libra. Beware. A Libra man uses jealousy as a trick to get closer to him. He believes that if he shows you that he is better than anyone else, you might be interested in, and you will stop doing things to make him jealous. This is quite confusing, but in his mind, he thinks it is your fault that he feels jealous. He usually doesn't behave so childishly, but negative emotions like jealousy turn him into a child. The Libra man will also be much more affectionate with you in the beginning. This is to try to make you more affectionate with him and less friendly with any other person he is jealous of. But also take care, if that doesn't work, a Libra man will start flirting with all the women he meets, even if you're with him. Scorpio. It's no secret that Scorpio is intense and passionate, and when it comes to a jealous Scorpio, all these feelings take on an even bigger dimension. Even if you tell him he has no reason to be jealous, he will want to convince for himself. At first, he will get annoyed, so don't expect him to talk about this topic. He will get angry pretty quickly, until he finds out for himself that his feelings of jealousy are unfounded. Scorpio will do what all jealous lovers do. He becomes paranoid. They may think you're texting other guys when you're not, and they're probably convinced they need to keep you on a shorter leash. It's totally crazy behavior on his part. Sagittarius. One of the things Sagittarius hates is feeling jealous. He's the kind of person who never wants to be held captive, so when he gets jealous, he thinks it's because he's too caught up in his relationship. At first, he will be in denial. He doesn't want anything in his life to bother him, so this new feeling is hard for him to accept. Once he accepts his jealousy, he will try to behave normally, making jokes, shrugging, and pretending that everything is only in his mind. Of course, because Sagittarius hates going through new and scary emotions alone, he will be a little scared. He will constantly ask himself if you really like someone else or what will happen if his jealousy does not disappear, and he will end up making a big case out of nothing. These obsessive thoughts run through his head, and he can do nothing about it. Expect him to be more sensitive and depressed until he pulls himself up to realize that he has no reason to be jealous. Capricorn. If you bring up a Capricorn's jealousy, chances are he'll immediately say something like, "Jealousy is a stupid feeling. I'd never be jealous," and they are quite large with that. But Capricorn is a man like all of them and can't always control how he feels. And when he inevitably feels jealous, his impenetrable exterior will begin to collapse. A jealous Capricorn is the one who feels negative things about everything that has to do with love. He will probably murmur and scold a lot because when he is jealous, nothing matters anymore. He will become even more suspicious of you and what you do when he is not around. And while he's too busy to be suspicious and nervous, he will be less caring about your relationship and your needs. Aquarius. The Aquarius man does not like to feel jealous because it is against everything it represents: free love and happiness. Jealousy makes him feel uncomfortable, and chances are he'll pretend he has no idea what you're talking about if you bring him into jealousy. In fact, it's so good to hide that something doesn't bother him that you might actually be convinced he's not jealous. Although he may not recognize anything out loud, his brain is flooded with thoughts that he might lose you or ruin his relationship, all because he is jealous. He tends to think too much about things, whether he wants to or not, so expect him to be quieter than usual and a little more nervous. His jealousy usually doesn't last very long, but it can put pressure on your relationship. Pisces. Although it is true that Pisces can sometimes be sensitive and insecure, When a man with this astrological sign becomes jealous, his feelings are amplified. Suddenly, he feels he has to compete with someone else for your love, even if that couldn't be further from the truth. But he thinks his jealousy is because he's not such a great boyfriend. He also becomes much more silent when he's around you. This is his way of letting you know that if you prefer to be with someone else, he will not get in your way. It might be annoying for you to deal with this guy, the kind who always plays the role of the victim, but with a little love and affection, you will prove to him that you don't want anyone else. So, how do you deal with your male partner jealousy? How much of our advice fit into the real world? Talk to us in the comments below, and you will get feedback from our community, so you will cross-check your experiences. If you have something more to add, use the comments to pick up the conversation there. Also, check the description where we placed more resources related to the info in this video. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe to our channel to see more like this. In fact, why would you click on the next one? We really think you will enjoy it.